mentions, the MHRA, Britain's medicines regulator, and we must always add medical devices regulator, has got another battering in The Conservative Woman, or TCW, by the sterling letter writer Gillian Diamond, who's been writing letters on themes dear to UK Column's heart for many years. You can see from the links at the bottom of that slide on screen that there are already 5 previous instalments in Gillian Diamond's attempts to get Dame June Rain to answer messages, but as Debbie will attest, and Sir Christopher Chope MP will attest, that the MHRA doesn't like replying to questions. It's coming up for a year since Gillian Diamond started asking what was going on. Halfway through that piece, there is an embedded link to the UK Column's exclusive footage at this stage. It's still exclusive, of the MHRA board meeting, and she's making the point there that very few people watch these meetings, and that needs to change. Posted below this upload to the Conservative Woman is this interesting comment by John Bull, which was fresh as of yesterday. John says, following the suggestion in UK Column at the end of last year, I was one of the 292 to write to the MHRA asking for information on what analysis, if any, they are doing on all the deaths and adverse effects reports. The MHRA rejected this request as being vexatious. We know that's the usual get-out clause of first instance, and you've said before, Mike, people should persevere through that and appeal to the Information Commissioner when they get that fob off. John Ball did, so he's now heard, yesterday, that'll be the day before yesterday now, your appeal's been rejected. And the information officer apparently ignored John Ball's contention that it would have been very easy and within budget to give the requested information. John Ball is now thinking of appealing to the first tier tribunal, which has to be done without 4 weeks, but isn't sure whether it would be counterproductive to do so. Either Mike or Debbie, I'm sure, will be keen to give John Ball and others in that category advice on this and any other freedom of information request that runs into the sand at this point.
Well, my view on this is I'll echo a colleague of ours who has said for many, many years that if you don't pursue these things to their absolute limit, you're effectively helping set a precedent which allows them to try to wriggle out of these freedom of information requests in the same way in the future. So I would just say, no matter how frustrating it is or how time consuming it can be in the sense of having to wait for responses and so on, you keep going until you've exhausted every opportunity, because unless you do that, you're letting them off the hook.
Yeah, I'd echo that as well. Once you've started the trail, you stick with it to the bitter end. And if it ends up you go 10 steps and each step you are rejected, that is evidence which can be used in future. But you mustn't bail out before you've done the full procedure that is open to you.
Alex again.
A final mention from me, fundraiser, that's FUNDRAZR if you're listening in audio only, now plays host to a new podcast-a-thon and associated fundraiser, which is by Catherine, I think the surname is Watkins, from PCP Wales, Public Child Protection Wales, on the sexualisation of 3-year-olds in school, and Lou Collins, our esteemed former colleague at UK Column, who runs Liberty Tactics now. Currently no money in that kitty, and that is, of course, to keep the campaign up to get the very important and hopefully precedent-setting judicial review sorted out, that children should not be exposed to this material in Wales or anywhere else in the world.
Yeah, can we also add that, of course, they worked extremely hard in the first podcast-a-thon, and they did raise several £1,000s, but everything they do, which is through the courts, requires funding. So this is worthy of support, I think.